Hello and welcome to Vaesen, the Devil You Know. I am the Scarred Adventurer, the great and mighty narrator of this game. Our game is Vaesen, a Nordic horror role-playing. Our background artist from Pixabay and our character artist from Marsha Joseph. Her Discord username is below. Contact her for any art you'd like done. Now, normally we do an intro to our players and what they do right at the beginning of the show. We are still doing that, but this is just our content warning for the game you're about to see. Now, the game Vaesen, a Nordic horror role-playing, is just what it sounds like. A horror tabletop role-playing game. We will be dealing with sensitive and potentially upsetting issues. Anything can happen in the story we are going to play out. Characters can die, they can be brutally hurt and traumatized, and we may deal with some fairly adult themes. My players all have an X card that they can play at any time should something be too much. But you, as the audience, don't have that same power. So I want to warn you in advance. This is not a show for children, the faint of heart, or those uncomfortable with horror based themes. Now, I'm not asking you to forego the show. In fact, I am doing quite the opposite. Please stay and watch. I just want to prepare you for the worst. There is no shame in choosing something else to enjoy, as your safety is priority. Now, with all that having been said, if you choose to stick around, I really hope that you enjoy what we bring you. Be good to yourself, and as we always say at Dirty 20 Gaming, please be nice to each other. So enjoy the show. Now, each of these wonderful, slightly, and I now need to change that to completely crazy because they've corrected me on this last time, have agreed to join us for the game tonight. Crazy people have joined me for the game tonight. Now, as we get them to introduce themselves this session, we start with Siosa. Please tell us, what do you do outside of this?
So outside of gaming, well, I'm a GM myself. I've game mastered on Dirty 20 in the past. I am a writer who will eventually have some links to something that I can share. But in the meantime, I'm just a person who enjoys showing up to game.
All right. Next, we go to Rory. Please tell us what you do outside of this.
Hello. Outside of playing here, I mostly make music whenever I have the time. Whenever there's no schoolwork that's piled up mainly. I try to semi-regularly post half-finished tracks or bootleg remixes, stuff like that, stuff I can't get on Spotify and all that on SoundCloud. And I'm also hoping that in a little bit here, I'll actually be able to get back to streaming. I did maybe like 2 streams for a little bit, mostly just to test out my hardware, but finally got something that's actually good enough to run the kinds of streams I want to do. So hopefully that'll be set up here very soon. And yeah, that's it. Mostly just music and playing on here.
All right. And as for the schoolwork, we can all totally get that, says the college dropout. Anyways, next we go to Sans. Sarah, please tell us what you do outside of this.
Hi, my name is Sarah. You can find me over on Tango Productions, where I stream on Mondays and Wednesdays video games. Mondays Stardew Valley, Wednesdays might be changing for soon. I don't know. I'm also in a Zoom show called Spaceshipped. We start rehearsals like next week, so I will be missing this show for shows. If you want to see me other days here, I am here on Tuesdays as Magic, and on Thursdays I run the Fool's Gold campaign. And also there is stuff coming onto Tango Productions. I am working with the Scarred Adventurer to make stuff right now. It's coming eventually.
There's so much stuff.
Eh.
Vietnam flashback moment. Why did I say it that way? Anyways, now we go to Ruth. Please tell us what you do outside of this.
Outside of this, I do my best.
That's all we can ask for.
I am here on Tuesdays as Exit, and today, Sunday, as Anya. Other than that,
Excellent.
Med. That's all.
Excellent. And once again, I'm the Scarred Adventurer, the narrator of this game. When I'm not narrating, I am here on Tuesdays as Red Death in our Cyberpunk Red campaign, run by Bison Stonefist. You can see him in the chat. On Thursdays, I am Kurt Augustine, Red Warden in our Fool's Gold campaign, King's Pyrite, run by Sarah. And finally, I am working with Tangor Productions to eventually bring you stuff. Anyways, with that, we now begin our session in earnest. Our protagonists have successfully completed their first mystery case adventure. They've made a hard choice and begin their journey home. While the town of Gulsey is no longer in an uproar, our protagonists cannot disclose the truth of what brought about this peace. Who would believe a tale of magic and fairies to such a degree? Who would believe that these travelers saved them when no one was looking? No, our protagonist will remain unsung, tired and weary from handing the man who asked for their help to the monster that plagued him. Our protagonists board a carriage to return them to the port they arrived at. As you get aboard the carriage, the coachman of the carriage is very quiet and stern. He doesn't really seem to talk a lot. But as soon as you guys have all gotten in, he nods at you and begins riding you towards the port you came from.
Charlie is dirty and injured. He went with a condition and dug a grave for Ocean. So he looks kind of, well, actually fairly close to the state they probably found him when they first met him. But he is quiet for the carriage ride.
Does anyone else start up a conversation, or is it fairly just dim quiet in the cart on the way back?
Anya is kind of in her head right now. But for a moment, she kind of snaps out of it, looking at Charlie and going, Are you doing okay? And I forgot the accent.
Charlie kind of he rubs at his temple and he says, "We need to do better next time. Better prepared. More of an idea of what we're up against. Whether it's research or spending more time, we ran out of it and we didn't have options."
I was more so asking if you needed anything. But the
Charlie kinda
unpreparedness kind of comes with the fact that none of us were really prepared when we started.
Charlie nods and says, "It's not that I have a problem taking a life. It's that I don't think we have the right to be judge, jury, and executioner. I know we weren't in this case. It's just how things ended. We had a choice of a town or an individual. In the future, I want to have more choices."
Anya kind of just goes back into her head, thinking about, the ultimatum and that a life still had to be taken.
Agot looks up from cleaning his rifle and just, yes, that is a good point, Charlie. We were definitely not prepared for magnitude of this mission. At least now I know is is much more complicated than I first expected. But I agree, more time to learn about whatever creature it is we are up against in the future would be time well spent. Perhaps there will be more resources in the library. Maybe talk to creature for a little bit and try to learn more about the Vaesen as a whole. Maybe some of the more commonly appearing ones, I suppose.
Charlie's gonna look over to Lily, and say that thing you did, where you could have it speak for you. It said that it was unable to lie while that was happening. I don't know if that's always true when you do that, but
Is it always true? I Lily wants to say it is.
Yes.
Charlie
Um,
kind of nods and he says, I didn't know what questions to ask. I think maybe we would have had more options if I had thought about that. Or if I'd been prepared for what was going to happen.
This doesn't come all the way down on you. You understand that, right? We're a team. Like my mother used to say, we're a coven. We have to work together.
And that's I can only be responsible for my part and note the things that I know that I can do better. Knowing that you can do that now, though, it means that we can talk about it beforehand. We can brainstorm questions together.
Let's
Try.
be more cautious about using my abilities in the future. We got lucky this time.
And just for your information, Lily,
Mm.
you did not know prior to this that they can't lie when they're speaking through you.
Yeah, she. No, she did not
You
know.
know
this.
now, but
Yeah.
you didn't know before.
That's why she's kind of like.
Yes, it seems like that. At least from my perspective, it seemed that letting another creature speak through you is quite taxing. Perhaps is more like maybe not last resort. Maybe that is not the best way to say it, but further down list of tools for for your sake and the sake of your well-being, perhaps. But
I
don't know.
don't know how to explain it to you all since you've never done it before. It's a lot of energy to connect to the spirits. And sometimes, like I said, you had to tie me down. Sometimes that's necessary.
As the sobering conversation sort of begins to reach its point of here, the carriage stops, and you are now at the port. As you guys get off the carriage, the coachman looks to you, and in a very kind of gruff, raspy sort of voice, begins to speak. And he looks at all of you, saying, "Thank you from the court of summer flowers." However, this is when the coachman takes a look directly at Finn. "We know the court of the orchard throne a favor. Come with us to negotiate." And with that, Finn is brought back into the carriage, almost against his will, it looks like, by some unseen, unmoving force. The reins crack, and the carriage is gone out of any way of catching it.
Charlie's instinct is still kind of lunging after it, you know. I also understand that we have a player character who's not here right now.
No, I fully understand.
Uh,
Just it happened all so fast that even though you lunge at it, your fingertips graze the carriage as it darts away down the road.
Lily's hand will hover over like Charlie's shoulder. Spirits have their own ways of doing things. We shouldn't interfere.
My problem is that court, the court of summer flowers and green plains, it thinks it can enact judgment on people who have no idea what they've done. They sentenced a man to death for killing things that he didn't know existed, that he couldn't see.
Spirits are much colder than humans. Some have never been alive. Some have.
Some think we need to be wiped out, apparently.
Exactly.
Charlie kind of like, I have something to show everybody once we're on the boat. But I'd like to be away from here before I do. Kind of looking back at where the coach is departing, like given that everything we just talked about was apparently eavesdropped on.
Yes. Anyways, as you guys begin to make your way to the boat, you see a familiar face. That of Captain Monty Kane. Going, looks like you guys have been all through the ringer. So, are you ready to come aboard again?
Yeah, this is passengers again.
Absolutely. You guys see anything for the society of Vaesen. And allows you all to board his ship.
I remember that at least one other person in the group kind of caught an interesting vibe off of the captain the previous journey. So I'd, if at all possible, I'd like to try and see if I can pinpoint what some of the other people were hinting at about our captain, about our dear captain here.
Absolutely. So I'm asking, are you taking a more active role in looking at him? At an active role in this, or are you letting your passive, or are you doing more like a passive observation of him?
As we board, I'll just reach out to shake his hand and just say, "Is great pleasure to come aboard again. Hopefully this time journey is a little bit less eventful."
Okay, I will have you roll an observation. When I said passive observation, I was going to make you roll vigilance. So, you know.
Ah, okay.
I just didn't have a better way of saying that.
One success.
You see him smile, a deep smile. And when you're looking into his eyes, they kind of shimmer for a second. And the pupils grow long sideways. And his hand feels almost not quite wet, but it's almost damp, the entirety of his being. Like more so than it should be already on the ship. It's almost imperceptible, but you got there. And if no one tries to stop him or tries to do anything else with that, he gets you all to go inside. He
I was
sets
gonna
the sh-
say, oh, sorry. I was gonna say I'd kind of like to passively observe him.
Give me a vigilance.
Got it.
and I'll give you a +1.
Mhm. Give him that.
It's a
One.
good thing I gave you that +1.
Yeah.
So with that, you kind of see what Agate sees while you're walking past them. You see the eyes and you see some sort of dampness and I'd like an observation from Anya and a vigilance from Agate. Yes,
Good
I'm giving you the
observation.
opposite roles for this specific reason. And you don't notice it.
Yeah.
But it allows you guys to go inside. You guys get comfortable. The ship begins to take off, and as the captain is getting everything ready, he looks to his crew and goes, "Come on, let's have a good song while we go around this." And he pulls out the fiddle, and you can hear sounds of the fiddle being played masterfully as his crew sing several different sailing songs. Everything from The Wellerman to What You Do with a Drunken Sailor. And that one about syphilis. Anyways.
When they get down below, Lily pulls a card from her deck.
Cool. What you pull?
The high
If it's
priest.
death, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay.
No, that was just that entire town. It was always death, 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 death. I'm
Yep,
like,
and we're
stop.
just gonna blame the Doulahan on that. And excuse me as I take a moment to definitely not look up things to see what would make the most sense. Yes, okay. Next time you roll either a vigilance or an observation, I'm going to give you a +2.
Okay.
Because your senses seem to have heightened slightly. And that really seems to be you're pulling everything in.
Do we
You
have
have
our
a
own?
strong awareness of
Do we
everything
have our
going
own
on.
quarters on the ship, or do we have like a common area that we're in?
Well, there's the passenger quarters, which is essentially one big room you guys all sleep in, with the hammocks and everything like that. And then there is a common area inside. But for the most part, you have a spot that is just for you guys. You guys are their only passengers.
So I have a question sort of in flashback. So when we had the confrontation and Charlie had tried to take the skull, the Doulahan used a power called body control on him.
No. So
I didn't know if that was like a reference to like just how Vaesen are framed. They roll something different when they're doing a
they
physical
roll
action, or if it
something
was
different when they do roll something different. When a Vaesen does something that is their own body manipulation, their own physical force going forward, they don't manipulate your body, they manipulate their own.
That was just the clarification I wanted. I didn't know if it was
Yes.
something that would leave
As
like
opposed
some
to
lingering marks or anything.
no, you have a pretty nasty cut on your arm.
I thought he'd gotten it from being slammed to the ground, so it's gonna have it like be like bruised across
Oh, I
the
know.
leg and stuff like that.
Oh no, there are some slight bruises, but you just for the sake of having something that can be seen by your doctor can actually be treated. The pretty nasty cut across your arm from just a rock that was on the ground as well.
Okay.
It's still the same battered. Like you're not. Nothing has really changed with that. It's just
Yeah. And it probably sees that Charlie like took off the shirt that he has and he's wrapped it really tightly. Like he's clearly like treated a wound or two before.
okay.
It might be an overreaction, but probably a full like, day later or whatnot, she may notice that the blood is still seeping on it, like very slowly.
Your
One of-
your boat ride's going to take a few days. I know that you have something you want to do, but I'm going to get you both to roll a medicine, which is in precision.
Sure.
Sorry, both Anya and you.
What am I rolling?
Medicine.
Why am I nervous? I have so
Because
many
it's your
di-
best skill and you really want to succeed at it.
If I fail with 10 dice, 2 success.
Okay. So, Charlie, you managed to staunch the bleeding fairly well, and it's not bleeding or seeping very much anymore. But there is still a note from your doctor that of the blood, of mostly the bloody shirt that you have wrapped around your arm. There is a question about whether or not they're allowed to see it. And if so, then they just fully treat it. Some nice antibiotics, a quick sew.
Did I roll to notice it? Or
No, this is
Okay.
just in all if I'm not overstepping, I believe Charlie was saying. I believe Ciosa was saying that eventually you would notice, anyways. Was kind of
Yeah.
giving it that.
I just assumed it as, you know, the doctor and whatnot, that she would probably be paying attention, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Charlie, do you mind if I clean and fix that up for you?
Yeah, Charlie will nod and, he will kind of look to like where most of the other sailors are and say, we probably shouldn't do it where anyone else can see. And once there's the relative privacy, he, he takes off the shirt and everything. He tied it tight enough that it probably all the bleeding should have stopped, but it hasn't. One of the things that I kind of want to do with him is he had a physique of 4 before the event that basically awoke him, and now it's a 2. And part of the way I'd like to play that out is that he has a difficulty in recovering from wounds, that it takes
Okay.
longer because some of his vitality was drained by the creatures that were around when he rose.
Absolutely. Yes and no, strangely enough. So it is still bleeding a bit, but it's bleeding to such a small degree, it's almost paper cut like. For some reason, even though it's hurt you, you're not seeming to notice it very much. And especially with the 3 medicine successes, you're going to be able to take away 2 conditions on both. You can get rid of all your conditions, essentially.
Okay. One of them was a mental condition, the other one's physical, but
Yes, but because of the doctor's kindness and excellent work,
sure.
I'm putting words in my player's mouth. I'm so sorry.
I will say that when she's cleaning and fixing up the wound, you'd probably notice that her hands are like ice cold.
Yeah, and Charlie doesn't cry about it yet, but he does, he tells her like ever since my eyes were opened, things have taken longer. If I get a bruise, it can take a month sometimes, or it's fully gone. It used to be just a few days. And he kind of points to so there's like a bullet scar that runs like down the side of his head that like is clearly where a bullet like caught and skipped and tore flesh, but didn't like go through skull. He says, same time I got this. So same time my eyes came up.
Let's see.
So, because of your wonderful medicine check as well, you do notice, even though there's been bleeding and it takes a while for it to heal, there's a lot less of it than there theoretically should be. But you notice this, it's not something Charlie would be very aware of.
She doesn't mention anything, but she kind of like looks at it for a bit longer kind of thinking about it. Like kind of wondering if she should bring it up or not.
I
But she
leave that
kind
in.
of just logs it in her mind for now.
And once it's like bandaged, she'll kind of like, maybe we should get everybody together and talk about things we learned.
That's probably a good idea. She's gonna kind of go out and wave the other two in.
Uh, uh, what is going on?
So there was one part of, you were there for it when Ocean talked about the man that had come. And Charlie's opening his journal at this point and showing the drawing that he made of the kind of effeminate cloaked figure. Um,
Yes, mysterious person who bring him the box. Yes.
and the Doulahan had said that he was a fanatic that was intent on wiping out our species.
Hmm.
Kind of looks to Lily like, you know more about the spirits than I do. Do you know anything about something like this?
I know spirits can be ruthless and cold, and when they set their mind to something, they complete the task, but I've not heard of that.
They set their mind to something until they complete the task, and this one is set to wiping out people. Then that's something we need to find out more about.
Yes, is was very concerning when Peter said that. I have I have weird idea. There is chance. It is just kind of theory crafting for extra path of investigation. There is chance, however small, is individual is human like us, either who make a deal or is maybe under control of one of these other spirits. I don't know. But like you said, Lily, you said spirits can be ruthless, so it's hard to say. Could just be one of the spirits trying to start the whole not a war, but conflict, I suppose.
Extermination, it sounds like.
Yeah, yes. Extermination is the right word. Yes, thank you. It's very scary to think about, honestly.
As they're talking about and having seen Charlie's drawing, Anya's gonna check the book.
There's not much, honestly.
But there's a page for it.
You managed to find a page that you think might belong to it, and you
That at least
see,
suggests it's not human.
That is why I'm checking, yes.
yeah. But you don't really see anything much more than what Charlie's already drawn. You just see that, and even then, it's a question of: is this a drawing based on something that definitely isn't human? Or is this a drawing of something that you think isn't human and are thus... The question becomes, are you influencing the book or is the book influencing you?
Is there any way that I could figure that out?
Yes, but not on the book.
Damn. Okay.
Maybe something to ask the librarian when we get back.
I agree.
If no
I-
more, nope.
This may be too bold of me, and you may tell me that. It is obvious how I gained the sight. I was born into it. How did. And I'm not trying to sound rude. How did 3 normal people gain it?
Is not a really remarkable story for me. I was out hunting a few, maybe year or two ago. It's a little bit difficult to remember now. It almost feels like I've just been this way. But I was out hunting, tracking large deer. It's going to be food for at least 2 months. It was a good hunt for this season, but lost sight of it and felt tree branches brushing. I go brush them away and turn around, and there is 3-person thing, a spirit, I suppose now, but it looked like walking tree, and I instinctively just fired. It scared the shit out of me. No lie, I cannot lie about that. But after I fired, it immediately branch swung at me and hit me in the eye, and just kind of taps the eye patch, and oh, was was like nothing, was like no injury I ever experienced. I stumble home, good thing I know the way around the woods, and I wake up next day, and from then on start seeing things, things that most people, I guess, don't see. I point it out to people I see in town. I ask, hey, have you seen this creature? Is there different species of whatever, deer or wolf? And people say, no, I've not seen it. And from then I could see, I suppose. I crafted eye patch to hide wound and drew old god symbol from my village that my parents taught me about. Is meant to bring good fortune. But yes, that's all there is to tell.
Very looks very thoughtful. Let's see. Here's the story. He kind of rubs at his ears. He's thinking, and he says, "Mine came after I was drafted. It's just the war here. Press gangs in Salaka were picking up everybody. They started with the docks, and me and my friend were swept up in it. We trained for a few weeks, and then we followed a lieutenant who'd never been into battle. The ambush was from all sides. We were completely unprepared. We had a sergeant who we all hated, and when the lieutenant went down in the first round of fire, the sergeant stepped up. He died a second later. He says, which just left us surrounded, taking fire from every side. He says there was nothing we could have done. He says, I saw my friend, says someone I've known since childhood, says he took a bullet through the throat. Says it's the same one that hit my head. He says, and when I woke up, he says there was a pit surrounded by all the people that I trained with. Says my own best friend's body atop me. Says after that I saw things. Says starting with the things that were eating the bodies. Says they let me be. He says, or maybe they were afraid because I come back from the dead. He says, and I walked through the forest and found my way back to the city. He says, I saw spirits between the trees. Says, I saw them on rooftops in the city. Says, I thought it was this. Says, I thought I'd lost my mind or done some damage where it hid. Says, actually, for a few days, I thought it was a ghost. Says, until I got to the city and people recognized me. I should re-emphasize at this point that Charlie is very young. He looks like maybe 17. So he falls quiet after that.
Anya seems kind of like in space, although she was listening and like nodding along. She can't quite tell if she's remembering it or if she's hearing the scream she heard that day. Or I guess she's again trying to dismiss what she's sure is a hallucination from lack of sleep. I had performed an autopsy, and I was writing my report before bringing the body to the morgue in the hospital. And just as I was about to write the time of death, the cadaver sat up. When I looked up from my reports, it was looking back at me, and it spoke to me, or it was trying to. I couldn't really make out the words. And after it was done speaking or gurgling, I guess, it fell back onto the table. Strange. And then, since that, I've had dreams, or I would see strange things. I guess the spirits, the Vaesen. I thought I was crazy. Still think I may be.
You're in good company.
We all are then.
She kind of. Wait a minute. And she opens the page of the book that the cadaver was on, and she shows it. Would the. Because the book shows what we know of the beings, right? So it would have the whole autopsy report on it.
Yes, it does.
She flips to the page and shows it to everyone. That was the cadaver. Since it would have her autopsy report, like her findings, to shorten it down, the cause of death was asphyxiation by blood in the lungs caused by a clot. I have this written in my backstory.
Yes. It's plain for people to see, and if people would like to see some more of it, we can absolutely share some afterwards.
Yeah.
The key thing that happens, though, Lily and Charlie, it's just an autopsy report and a cadaver. Agate. You hear a word in your brain that doesn't seem to be from anything, but it's a little. It seems kind of muffled, kind of wrong. You try to reach into it and try to like clarify it a bit. I'm give me a vigilance roll
All right.
and take a bonus one.
Okay. One success.
All right. You manage to get it, and just in this bare whisper, you hear the word Draugr.
What? Do I see anything? Is there anything happening on the pages themselves, or do I just hear this?
You hear the word, and you know by looking at it that what you have in your brain and the word that you have in your brain, what you're seeing on the page, don't quite match yet. It's like it was in transition. Almost.
Is anything happening with his eye patch while this is happening?
Oh yes. It's glowing, but I'm not it's a little imperceptible.
And is he
Vigilance
showing?
checks from everyone.
Uh,
You get a +2 to that, yes.
Since Charlie has seen it before.
No, it's you get the same one. Only
Okay.
Lily gets the +2, which
Did I mess
gives
that up?
to 0 successes.
yeah.
2 successes.
It's okay. Lily's very focused on something else this whole time.
Yes.
Or I was going to donate one.
Oh, yay.
All right, so everyone sees it. Because Anya, you kind of give Lily a bit of a kick with your foot to her foot, and just a little nudge, almost like a "Hey, look."
What is it?
What you all see is a glowing. You see his eye patch glowing slightly, not very much, but a bit.
He's good. I kind of squints, stares rough harder at the book for a second, and then, ugh, what? Like scratching his head. They, hmm. I looked at page and book, and immediately I hear, not here. Is not sound coming from somewhere. Is something else. Maybe I don't know. Word pop into head. Word is Draugr.
And with that, the word Draugr, Draugr, appears on the book. And
Is
underneath it, it's written in runic. I actually need to look up for how the hell that's spelled in runic.
I recognize the runes, sort of. I think maybe it's just dialect. In my village, there was story of, I suppose, it's Draugr. Like, don't remember. Don't remember much of the story right now. I remember a word, seeing it in that spelling.
What does it mean?
Unfortunately, as the word came into your brain, nothing else did.
You said you made that eye patch yourself.
Yeah, yes, made from made from old leather I had curing from hunt probably a couple months before incident.
You do you know that it glows sometimes when you're thinking real hard?
I I did not know it glows. That is interesting. I knew that behind it feel like my whatever is still there under eye patch. There is sensation. Is is always different. It's always different. In it was Ocean's house when read that piece of paper on Skull's mouth. It was almost like searing, almost like if you look at the sun, like the feeling of a bright light burning your eyes, but is covered by eye patch. It does not work either way. Is confusing. I assume it was part of the sight, just something that happens when I see things I would not normally have perceived. But maybe it's something different. I don't know.
As you are all left to ponder that, I'm mostly just wanting to get us back to Castle Greenwood.
Sure.
As you're all left to ponder that and think about the things you've all said to each other, you were hit by a sudden, very heavy exhaustion. It might be the best choice to go to sleep. And when you awake, you have docked back in Salaka.
We sleep for days.
Yes. You also happen to be a little hungry and fairly thirsty. With
Um,
that, sorry.
Do we have the funds left over to stop at the inn where we worked previously, or where Charlie worked previously? On the way
Absolutely.
up to the castle. Then whatever coin Charlie has, he's gonna invite the captain to, as thanks for the voyage, to at least have a meal on him there.
Well, I'd absolutely love to go with you, but. And he puts his hand on the ship and just kind of caresses it very lightly. Just. I can't ever seem to be away from her for too long. Maybe some other time. But I'm absolutely thinking about it. You're a fine lot, all of you.
Are you making off for another port?
Not for a little while. Probably going to sit here, resupply for a few days. And then, well, we'll go where the wind takes us.
So Charlie kind of, he says, I have something for you before you go then, if you want to accept it. And Charlie's kind of quickly, he's written out the story in his mind, but he hasn't yet put it to paper about Vaesen the dual hand. With the extra success that I got over what I thought I had, I would like to have it framed into a sea shanty.
Absolutely.
So Charlie just starts to sing. He doesn't have a great voice, but he's definitely like passionate, and it's like probably like a ballad length thing, since it's, he's got multiple characters in it and whatnot, but it's all framed to be memorable. Sea shanties are always kind of, they've got a rhyme scheme and whatnot, but he sings the whole thing for the captain. Because in his mind, the best thing to do is have it spread, and there's nothing better than a sailor to do that.
It's quite the song. I think we'll have to make good use of it. It's a good way to do it. I think it would also sound very good as a book. Maybe a large poem.
Put it
I'd
down.
take some time to do that as well, but my men and I will all quite enjoy it.
And he waves at the captain.
Off ye be! We'll see ye soon, as the
I've no doubt.
fates allow. Fate. That damned word again. If no one wants to stop in town, Greenwood calls.
Like we should.
As you begin to start heading over to Castle Greenwood, you see everyone give me vigilance. We're rolling a lot tonight. It's pretty much the same things over and over again, but yep.
0.
3 success. 3 success, and I'll give 1 to Lily.
Okay. So everyone has a vague can kind of see him. Anya, you know exactly who this is. You see a hooded figure waiting nearby. Anya, you see scars all over him. And for some strange reason, you see them and picture a bit of a southern drawl. Everett McCall has come to bring you guys back to the castle.
I'm just thinking, when you said that, it made me think that if the scars could talk, they would be southern.
Yes. You see, I got this one from a little guy up north. You see and then he goes into a long story. It's just horrible. It's just horrifying. It's great, but it's also some of them can be sung to like campfire tunes. They're and he's covered in them. There's a lot. Um, but Everett McCall waves over to you, Anya, and the rest of you. Although the rest of you don't quite know who he is.
Anya's gonna walk towards.
Well, it's great seeing y'all again. Would you like a nice me and Percy here can give you a nice trip back up to the castle if you like.
It would be lovely.
All right then. Well, we got a couple new residents at the place too. Hope you guys will all get along. And with that,
Sure.
he loads you into his carriage once again and brings you all the way to Castle Greenwood. As you exit the carriage, he does let you know that Creature has been wondering about how you guys have been doing for the last little while. And is a little concerned considering he never heard from you the entire trip.
Heard from us. We were an ocean away. Let's see at the least.
Yes. So that's something you all ponder. Do you guys head to Creature, or do you want to, like, be in the? Is there anything you guys want to do besides talk to Creature?
I think talking to Creature is the
Probably.
most pressing.
Yeah.
But talk to Creature first.
Yes. Oh, Everett does look at you and hears, while you're riding, does hear the rumbling of some tumblies. So he lets ahead. He does say that there will be some food there while you talk to Creature. He also says, don't drink anything Creature drinks. It's probably a bad decision.
Charlie is gonna. This is a carriage that he has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie's scratching the "Don't rob this" sigil for like the Docks as Thieves can into the back of it.
Excellent. You also see a few other thieves' cants that you recognize as having the same symbol drawn into it. Not the same, but the similar symbol
Similar ideas.
that means the same thing.
Yeah.
This place has clearly been around. But as you guys get up and you meet Creature in the main hall, he's still unsettling. But he
We need to make rolls
seems...
for him.
No, you don't. You've seen him before. You know what to expect. I don't want any of you shooting Creature at this point in time. Even though his face is expressionless, he does seem happy to see you. Welcome. Sit down. Please tell me how it all went. And if someone would be so kind as to hand me the Rocky Talkies I gave you, I'll recharge them in case, so that they're ready for the next time you go out.
I don't remember who we put in charge of those.
We didn't use them.
We didn't use them. They're probably just in somebody's bag.
Ah, well, it still doesn't hurt to recharge them.
It
Anya's
was just like, you want the rocks you gave us back?
They're-
Yes. Did I not? I told you guys before that you say the word Salaka into them, and then you can talk to me on this side. Ask questions. Get help.
Did
I-
anyone else know that?
Yes.
All the way over in Ireland. We can go to.
Yes, these
I
are
would
magical
ass-
Rocky Talkies.
I would assume since Anya probably has the most bag space, because she keeps medical supplies on her, she would have it. So she kind of just
Sure.
pulls it out of her bag and hands it over.
That might have been
Excellent.
useful. You might have known something about the thing that we met.
That
Oh,
would have been
thing you
very
met.
useful.
I didn't
Yes.
realize
Give me details.
the
And
rest
he
was
walks.
forgotten.
He does walk over and he puts them onto a little counter. And he rings a little bell next to it. And from there, you hear the flippy floppy of little feet. It's very quickly coming over. You can't happen to see what's behind the counter, but you see a little hand come up and try to grab the Rocky Talkies. Please give me an observation.
I'm so bad at these.
0.
Yep, zilch for me.
Nada.
Charlie, you're our only hope.
Okay, Charlie, you see it perfectly. Like, wow, so fantastically. There are a few things odd with his hand. One, it's bright golden yellow. 2, it has black splotches on it. And 3, the finger pads are very large.
Opie?
Oh, they
And
just
you
kind of
and they just kind of drag the Rocky Talkies and goes, "Thank you," and then runs off, the flippy
Yes.
floppy of little feet.
Charlie's kind of like leaning to kind of see the rest of the attached figure.
Oh, okay. So, when you do that, do you walk close enough to look over?
Yeah.
Because that's really the only way you'll. Okay. So, you see what looks like a 5-foot frog. No, 4-foot. A 4-foot tall frog. He blinks at you with big, wide eyes. Hello!
Yeah, he kind of waves back and do you know the captain of what was the name of the ship?
That is something you never asked while on the ship.
It would be on the ship though.
It would be on the ship. The ship's name is. God damn it! I didn't think of this. The Fit Fiddle.
Do you know the captain of the Fit Fiddle?
No, this is nice.
He has eyes like yours.
Oh, lots of people have eyes like Obi. That's not really a big deal. Okay, bye. We need to recharge this. And then he flippy floppy of little feet running across the floor. You hear a door slam shut. And that is all you're getting of Obi for this little encounter.
Charlie will kind of look to. I can
Unless you really try to find him, but that's something else.
I can tell Preacher what happened if you want.
Absolutely.
Charlie will sing the shanty since he's as much using it as a memory aid.
All right. And yes, the sound is more of a flop 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 than a plap plap plap.
Like Ducky.
Yeah. Creature looks at you and goes, "Oh, that would explain our new guests." He said something about owing you all a favor and just decided to take up residence.
Is it going to be something where he's eventually going to have to find a wrong to right?
No, I believe the exact words he said were, "Do you need someone to drive a carriage for you places and get there much faster than you would otherwise?" And I said, "Well, we could always use someone like that. And your horse looks big and strong." And he said, "Well, of course he's big and strong. I'll tell you about when I first got him." And then he went into a long anecdote. And I stopped paying attention like halfway through.
That does sound like Peter.
Yes, that was his name.
is loves loves stories. Sometimes tells too long ones, but he's good. He's good natured. Some stories were quite good.
Yes. He also said that you had his head for quite a while. I'm surprised you didn't take the easy way out. I'm happy you didn't, but you know.
Yeah.
Way?
What easy way out?
You break the Doulahan's head. It removes the Doulahan. It's
It
right here in
seems-
this volume. And then, like, he kind of whistles somehow with no lips. And says, Margaret, please get me the book on the Doulahan. And with that, a ghostly figure that you only briefly saw behind Finn appears, hands Creature a book, waves hello to all of you, and then leaves as silently as she came. And then Creature opens the book and finds the passage and goes, yes, to kill the Doulahan, you destroy its head. There are a few other methods for keeping the Doulahan alive and protecting oneself from the Doulahan. None of these are permanent solutions, mind you, but they are solutions.
Not keen to kill anything. It's not trying to kill me.
Ah,
And it wasn't. But it's useful to know.
yes.
I have
This
two
one's
other-
my favorite. Did you know that they can't cross running water? They can still use bridges, but they can't go past rivers. So amusing.
We saw that woman when another came and then disappeared. He was drawn by a coachman. They spoke about different courts. The Doulahan mentioned the court of Summer Flowers in Green Plains. And another one, the Orchards Court, was mentioned by the coachman who took him away.
The Orchard's Throne, yeah. Run by Citrine Sunfalls. Lovely woman. She came and offered me services of someone important to her. Wouldn't say more than that.
And that's for the court of the Orchards Throne.
Yes. Now the court. Sorry, that is a hard voice to keep doing. The court of Summer Flowers and Green Plains. That is the primary court of Ireland. They said you said you've gotten a favor from them. You have made powerful allies indeed.
And even possibly more powerful enemies.
Yeah. Charlie will offer his journal so that Lloyd can explain. And show the picture of Creature.
Creature holds the book open to his face. You can only assume he's looking at it, because no eyes. He's a weird dude, but you guys have, you know, you seem to just be taking it in stride at this point, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, we would. Oh, we wouldn't want to offend him.
Of course not.
Don't want to ask where his eyes went or anything. That's rude.
No, and he's got a big jug of something that he seems to be drinking out of. That just says the word trespasser on it.
What? Interesting.
chat gives me wonderful ideas. But yes, he is looking at the drawing that was made and is waiting for Lily to continue.
Charlie was the one who heard of it, not me, unfortunately.
On the dual
Perhaps
hand,
Charlie misspoke.
we were all there when the Doulahan mentioned that this person was some sort of zealot. They were the one who brought the head of the Doulahan to Ocean.
They brought the head of the Doulahan to Ocean.
And I was sent, and the Doulahan said that they were compelled, that they didn't have a choice in the matter, that justice had to be done, and that the judgment had been brought by the court of summer flowers and green plains.
Those who take the head of a Doulahan must suffer the consequences, whether they took it knowingly or by force. It would seem that our Doulahan friend has unfinished business. And you said religious zealot. Unfortunately, from this, I can't make out much.
And he hands it back.
But I will remember the face. And when you have more information, I will start pulling together what I can.
If he had handed the head to Ocean, then at some point he took the head himself. And the Doulahan has a mark against him as well. Is that how it works?
It would be likely. The issue would be more that the Doulahan does not appear to know where he needs to go next. Powerful magic's hard work. We cannot hope to know all things. And from your travels, it seems you made a very difficult decision. Whether your decision was true and right, or wrong, I cannot say, for I was not there. I do not know what decision I would have made. But there is a question I must ask you that I would like you all to ponder. What do you value more? Whose soul holds greater significance? That of the seen, or that of the unseen? You need not answer now. Only know and think to know.
I chose too gravelly a voice character. With that, if you don't have anything you want to ask creature right now, or say to creature, or you don't want to, you can't think of anything that you really need to get out at the moment.
I
There's
will
food
ask one
waiting
thing.
for you at the table. And
Oh, that's
yes, please do
true. We do
ask.
have food. Um, he kind of stands up again and takes a couple steps closer to the shelf and just starts scanning them. And he asks, do you have more books like this one you have about the Dullahan? More books on other Vaesen?" it may be, at least I'd be interested in just whenever I have time spending time here and learning more. But it all depends on what you have available, I suppose.
Yeah. I would like to read up on some more Vaesen. One I'd like to. I'm particularly interested in reading more about is the I asked Rory to clarify and I already forgot the cadaver.
The drugger.
Yeah.
With hearing the word drugger, the creature seems to balk slightly. Almost like he's offended by the word. And he just kind of rubs the bridge of his nothing. The bridge of his nothing. The bridge of where his nose should be. And points towards shelves upon shelves of books. And he even states, "These are only the ones in the Great Hall. There are more in the library. Please feel free to make use and make yourself of, and avail yourself of any of the literature. It may be difficult to find and difficult to know what you need to find. But I and Margaret will be there to assist you."
Why so many books in this one kind of Vaesen?
Sorry?
I thought you were saying that all those books were just about Draugr.
No,
Oh,
they're
okay,
all
okay. Then
all about Vaesen. And for Draugr, he looks a bit. He seems tired. But however, instead of reaching for a book on the shelf or calling Margaret to grab him one, he reaches deep into the robes that he's wearing and pulls out a book stating simply, "Undead in their many forms."
Thank
Or
you.
undeath in its many forms.
Thank you.
And
You're welcome. Just don't start drawing any parallels between me and those things. Now, you're all famished. Everett worked so hard on this. You should all have something to eat.
Audrey's gonna scurry to the table.
probably does the same.
Yeah, go sit back down. I'll wait for everyone else to get situated. I don't want to be rude and just start digging in, but he's very hungry.
Sorry.
Lily's going to follow, but a little bit behind, like she was going to ask something, but decided against it.
Okay. Creature does make note of this. And you can see him kind of looking at you, nodding slightly, and then walking. But as you all sit down for dinner, or lunch, or it's breakfast. You haven't eaten anything since a while, so this is technically breakfast. It's the break of fast. You all sit down and you have a magnificent spread of food in front of you. Every so often, a plate becomes empty from just you grabbing things and having delicious thing and eating things that are delicious. And before you can even think, "Oh man, I wish I had some more of this," you hear the flop 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 of little feet and a little plate and a little tray pushed onto the table, and then the fluff up before you can even turn around to see it. Of some strange little helper figure that seems to want to be oh so helpful and oh so useful. And also, because Charlie rolled so well, you do notice that he's wearing some very interestingly shaped gloves. Specifically for those in the know to know.
Uh, yeah, Charlie will. I suppose this has come up for us a few times. He's actually asking this of Obi. He says, "Is it rude for us to ask what you are?"
No. Orby just don't know what. Orby not really know what are. Orby have many different things. At one point, Orby think he God. But that different discussion. Very confusing at Orby. But Orby just think he giant frog. That you would know as frog. Where Orby come from, he called Grung. And Orby from Clan Ken. And Ken come before name, and it's very complicated, but Orby full name is Ken Orby. Because Orby from Clan Ken. Or Clan Ken not exist, but Kobe make Clan Ken, so Orby head of Clan Ken. And Orby, anytime Orby want to have friends and make new friends into Clan Ken, they just ask Orby, can Orby make you in Ken? In Clan Ken? And then they say yes or they say no, and then Orby go very happy, and then he go next thing. Oh. Orby need to do some work. Their mighty dragon downstairs that Orby must say hello to. They're a sweet. Don't try to ruffle scales. Anyway, Orby must go. Orby doing other things. Unfortunately, Orby can only help so long, so Orchestrat'll help. And then he runs off. And you hear the thumping of big feet. And the feeling of someone in the corner that you're just a little worried to go and look at.
Well, this
But you know he's
mysterious voice was.
Oh no, you can all pretty much have seen him at this point.
Yeah, he's like, look, where the. Oh.
Because you see Charlie specifically stopping and talking to Obi, and Obi taking up a large amount of time. Just talking. And Obi does say one other thing, which is just some people think Obi neck, but Obi not neck because Obi not know how to play an instrument. And then he runs off. Obi once know how to play an instrument, but a drum. Da 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 da. I'm gonna stop doing this. I will keep going.
Another interesting small companion. This place never ceases to surprise me.
Tell me about it.
Elmer is just sitting right next to you for a second.
Oh, hello, Elmer. I did not see you sit down. How have you been?
Yeah, it feels like a lot of us are just here for comic relief. Don't understand it yet.
How's your cough?
I was about to ask, how's the cough?
So much better, darling. You're so sweet to ask about that. Thank you so much. I'm only coughing up half a lung instead of the whole thing this time. It's lovely.
I'm glad the medicine helped.
Yeah. Oh, I saw wonderful things. Gold, gold, jewels, and diamond rings. Anyways, I'm off.
Elixir and gems as well.
No, it's just when he was on drugs, he saw wonderful things. Diamonds, or gold, jewels, and diamond rings.
Before we
Does any of this make sense? No. I'm sorry. This has gone off the rail a bit.
Before we break for dinner, break from dinner. But Charlie does not have great manners, by the way. He went from being like a street urchin to a sailor to a soldier, none of which impart any kind of table etiquette beyond don't elbow people. Um,
And don't eat before your superior officer.
but he does he has at least the common sense to not talk while chewing, so he waits until he's finished his bite. He looks to Lily, and he says, You asked before how we came to the site, and you said that you were born with it. But how is it you came to be here? You're not from Slaka.
No, I'm not. I'm actually from Ireland. I Can I Lily's trying to hide the truth right now.
Give me a manipulation roll. And give me an opposing observation roll.
I'm bad at observation, but may I as well?
Only the person who wants to see if Lily's lying and is really wanting to dig into this. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
It's more like a reflection of genuine curiosity than distrust.
You see she's trying to hide something. She's doing a fairly decent job, but you're a
Uh,
writer for a reason. You notice everything.
yeah, I'll do it this way. So what Charlie will notice is that she's rubbing her wrist. After I went through my training with my mother and grandmother, I started to have visions. And I was told to come to Salaka.
Is it right in your family?
Through the women in my family, yes.
Yeah, he doesn't make any sign that he knows she's holding something back or whatnot. So he says it must have been hard to leave what you knew.
It wasn't all that hard. I wasn't truly close with my family.
Does it feel weird being away from home? I mean, I'm not from here either. I came for work.
Oh, I'm trying to skirt the truth right now with her. Because that's what she's trying to do. Like I said, after my training, I left. It helps to see the world when you do what we do. When you work with the dead, like I do.
What exactly do you do?
So she takes out her deck and spreads it out full fan in front of everyone. I can tell people their fates, reveal the future. If you say, I can talk to spirits, give some clarity or answers they were looking for.
Charlie, I don't know if you guys would notice or not, but Charlie like visibly shudders at reveal your future. But he doesn't say anything.
I'm going to say something. It's going to make things a little fun and also very complicated for me. Everyone, including Charlie, but Charlie, because of his apprehension, feels it less, feels a sudden desire to take one card from the deck.
Do you want me to pull these?
Depends on who wants to be pulling a card.
May I
I-
resist it?
Yes, you can absolutely.
Okay.
I've always been, I guess you could say, kind of a skeptic, but do you mind if I pull a card?
Of course, go ahead.
So, two things I'm going to quickly say. You can either, just for the sake of this, because we have our wonderful little tiny deck with a lovely person's face on our VTT of choice, you can actually click that and draw it out onto the main page.
Was
Yes,
the
I prepped a bunch of these.
was the deck like face up? Like, could we see the
No.
artwork on the different cards?
No, she has it face down.
Okay.
I pulled one.
All right. I don't think I can see it. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Is anyone else pulling one?
I will as well. Let's see.
All right. And then when you have it, tell me what you got. And the person who has an actual one with them can pull an actual one if they want to.
One. Where is my? How do I see what I got?
Oh dear, this should.
Should work.
Come on, should be working.
I got
Yeah.
the Hanged Man, but
Okay.
it is not right side up. It's upside down.
Oh, great.
So it looks
cool.
like he's the standing man.
Yep, that's. Please share with Rory how you did that.
I have pulled the devil.
Right side up or
right
upside down?
I think right side up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
are so
Lily
many of
pulls
these.
out temperance. Right
Upside
side
down
up.
or right side up? Right side up. Cool.
When everybody's pulling, Charlie's just like, no, thank you. I'd rather not see my future.
Cool. You are safe for now as well, Lily. I have to roll like so many tables for this little small thing. So the Hanged Man, upside down. The food in front of you all transform. You guys have all finished eating, right? Good.
He's got like I've got some stuff on my plate still, but I'm saving it for something in a minute.
It all turns into rats,
Ah,
and then they scurry off. At the same time, yeah, this is a difficult one. A creature comes in quickly, going, Agate, I have a sudden desire to make a strange bargain with you. Yes, I wrote down a bunch of stuff.
looks over. Is now the best time to bring
No,
this
it
up to
is.
the rats.
If you can guess the number I'm thinking of, I will give you. I will give you something of your choosing.
Is it?
And I'm thinking, and Creature says he's thinking of a number between 1 and 10.
Is there a D10?
There is. You can do it that way, or you can just
Mm.
guess.
I'm gonna do it that way. I guess
Not
2.
it. Creature goes, no. So I'm going to go into your room, rummage around, and steal some leather. Bye! And then he's just off,
All right,
suddenly,
wait.
for no reason. It seems very confusing. And for Temperance, some of the food miraculously didn't turn into rats. However, those food seem to now be growing at a rapid rate into full plant life all over the table.
And this is the negative part of what I do.
Does this always happen?
And then they grow
The
lovely
rats?
fruits that everyone can eat some. Except for the rats. The rats, for reference, just letting everyone know, when it is upside down, it is a negative effect. When it's right side up, it's a positive effect. And creature's gonna give you one other shot. Roll one more d10. If you can get it, you can get it.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's more fun this way.
5 this
We're gonna
time.
add those two together and just say that's the number.
Okay.
He was thinking of the number 7 because it's always the number 7 whenever someone says I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Statistically, it's 50% of the time. Not lying. It's at least 50% of the time. It's a weird number, like 7. It's not 1, 2, or 3.
It's
It's
not
not
the
too
first
close to
three.
5. It's not 5. It's not 4, 5, or 6 because those are all too close to the middle. 8, 9, 10, all too close to the end. 7 seems like the weird middle number that feels like the most comfortable number you can pick.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
like
weird thing.
equidistant from the middle and like the highest point of the number range. That's odd to think
Yeah.
about.
Right? Anyways, the
more you know.
so yeah, no. Think about it. You can ask creature for any one thing.
Oh,
You don't need to do it right now. It's up. You can save it for next session.
okay.
But he's gonna give you something. You want a prize?
It's
Yeah, the tower is always bad news.
Yep.
That is accurate. No matter what, it spells disaster. It just depends on is it disaster for you or for someone else.
it's sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It depends. And although I am still learning in many senses of the word, my family says that I'm meant for something great.
I mean, it makes sense. There is. I don't know what to say. is baffling. I mean, it could clearly be used for who knows what in great purposes. Maybe. Oh,
So
sorry, I'm very confused. It could have been more rats.
Is this
as you ask that, suddenly you hear the flop 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 of little feet one more time. Strangely enough, Obi goes, "Hello, Obi, come clean up." And what the hell? Okay, ooh, cards. And Obi quickly grabs one out of the deck.
Oh no!
You don't get to choose. I know exactly which one is coming out.
Oh, no. Lily's actually at that point went, "Oh no!"
And Obi looks at it and goes, "Ah, okay." And Obi puts a hand into a pocket of these very basic pants he's got on, and he grabs out a very simple thing, and he goes, "See, Obi have similar thing. He do rune stones though. He doesn't do. He find card very restrictive, so he used runestone instead." And he starts going on about this, and every single one of you at the table begins to get very tired. And when you look at what Obi did, what card Obi picked, he pulled out the star, a lovely nighttime card. However, you guys all start kind of feeling a little groggy. Start thinking maybe it's time to go to bed. But the thing is, Obi didn't pick it up either right side up or upside down. He grabbed it sideways. How is this possible, you might be wondering? It's Obi.
we just slept for 6 days and I could use another 9.
Yep, you got some of you are thinking maybe it was the turkey, does that. And you guys all start to kind of drift off. Obi sees this, and he and Orchestodle help bring you all to your rooms and send you to sleep for now. And Obi go, sorry, friends. Good night.
Before he goes to sleep, Charlie will ask Obi to save the food so he can bring it into town.
Oh, Obi will pick fruits off plants. Obi also needs to get rid of rats now. Yum treat for Obi!
Before going to sleep, Anya's gonna try to stay up long enough to read the book.
You'll be reading it and you kind of fall asleep in the middle of reading it. Sorry, this is a we are approaching the end and I just want to. So each of you, I would like each person here to roll me a d6. Not anything on the table. Okay. And we're missing. Okay, there we go. So, also, by the way, this is not a time where it's a success or failure roll. What number you rolled will determine what you dream about.
Wonderful.
Oh no.
I don't, well, it actually could be wonderful. I don't know what the scale is on this.
Yeah, you were unlucky. Anyways, as I'll go in order. Lily, as you drift off into sleep, you have this warm feeling of just calm and sereneness, and just this lovely, like a lovely, pleasant dream that is just washing over you. While at the same time, this feeling doesn't really match what's going on in the dream. As you feel calm, like you're watching everything, and nothing of that you're watching has any real impact on you. But you see armies raised. You see armies raising. And you see people, and you see Vaesen. But you see the people winning, coming over top, and eventually succeeding, not in wiping out the Vaesen, but finding peace with them. Charlie, you you begin to have a dream. A lovely dream. Where normally when you dream of your friend, it's sad and it hurts. But you dream of your friend, and you get to see him again for a little while, and it fills you with this feeling of warmth and acceptance. And as you stand there with him, he makes a motion to you to look kind of in this reflection, this reflective pool that you two are sitting by, talking with each other. And you look into the reflective pool, and it doesn't alarm you. But you're suddenly very curious of why. Half of you seems to be very entirely human. On the other half, seems almost like the Vaesen and the spirits and the monsters you've seen before, but calm and gentle. You looking at yourself, you don't know what really This doesn't fill you with anything but curiosity. Almost like, what does this mean? Agate, your dream comes in a terrible way. You see your friends, your companions, battered and beaten. And you see a terrifying monstrosity lift from the sea and begin to raise havoc and raise the town that you seem to be in. Watching all of this, horrified, you are alone and trapped, watching this creature devour the world. Anya, your dream is similar to what Lily dreamed, but yours does not have a happy ending. You watch as people kill each other until there is one man left standing. And he looks around at the fields and swarms of dead covering the land. He thought this would be a victory. He was excited for it. He was relishing it. But now all he feels is distraught. He is the last one. He is battered and broken and soon to die. And all he did was for naught. And as you drift into this strange, dreamlike... as you continue drifting in these dreams, switching and moving from image to image. For Charlie and Lily, lovely images and dreams. For Anya and Agate, horrifying visions of what might come, or what has come, or what won't come. But horrifying visions nonetheless. As you drift away into a deep slumber, the kind that you oh so desperately needed. And yet, the kind you so desperately fear. And with that, that has been Vaesen the Devil You Know, episode session 5. What will weigh the souls of man or monster? So I would like to begin our goodbyes by saying thank you to my wonderful players. In no particular order, we will begin, actually, yeah, no, in no particular order. I'm not going to do the reverse order. I thought about it, but I changed my mind. We're going to start with Siosa. Really, Siosa, thank you for bringing Charlie, this character that I have so much planned for, and so many different things. Thank you for sharing your backstory a bit, like just letting us in on the lore. Really, that's a thank you to everyone. Like, thank you for showing us your lore and beginning to like reveal to everyone like what things are like. Sans, Sarah, thank you so much for Lily and being secretive and manipulative of the truth. I'm now just trying to pick between the two of you. I don't know why I'm doing this. So, Rory, thank you so much for bringing Agate, and almost like a voice of reason in certain cases, which is a lovely change of pace. Not for the characters you play, I mean like for everything, especially with the havoc that I suddenly caused with bringing in some fan favorite characters. Ruth, thank you so much for bringing in Anya. Her medical expertise is always appreciated, and I'm excited to continue exploring her story with you. Thank you to our phenomenal producer Hellhounds. The show would not be possible without you, and I'm just so grateful you said yes to doing the show with us. Thank you to chat. You were very busy tonight. I'm really excited, and I'm glad you guys had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys really liked tonight, and are looking forward to the next night. So thank you to you, yes, you, the viewer, whether you were watching us live on the VOD or here on Twitch. If you watched us live, or if you watched us live or the VOD here on Twitch, or if you came to see us on YouTube. If you watched with us on Twitch, be sure to give us a follow. We are here several days, nights a week. If you found us via YouTube, please give us a like, comment on what you liked, and hit that subscribe button. Why? Because it may help to ring that bell as well. As you can see, we're getting a lot better at it, but of course, like the Vaesen in this game, we tend to be erratic and unpredictable when we upload and show up. Other than that, as long as I'm not missing anyone or anything important, please, as we always say at Dirty 20 Gaming, please be nice to each other. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night,
Night, y'all.
day, evening, whenever you're watching this.
No,
Bye.